Hi, my name is Jai Kanya. I have created a food ordering application with some basic features like user registration, managing cart items, and placing order. So the whole application is deployed on Amazon Cloud and is provisioned with the help of CloudFormation. So this is the YAML file which is responsible for provisioning our infrastructure on AWS. Now, this is the file which we are going to upload to our CloudFormation. First of all, we are going to create a new stack, upload our YAML file to this stack. What keeper we are going to use. So we have started the stack creation process. This is going to take some time. Meanwhile, we are going to go through this YAML file. So the first thing which we notice in this YAML file is parameters. So these parameters are nothing but this is what prompts the user to fill out some details. So first is key value pair. Over here we ask user what key value pair they want to use, which is going to be attached to the EC2 instances. Then we ask for what type of instance they want to go for. For now, we have just given them one option of T2 micro. This is SSH location. So over here, we can user can enter the IP address from where they want to make an SSH connection. By default, it's gonna be this thing, which means that they can have an SSH connection from anywhere. Now coming to the most important part, the resources. So the first resource is secrets manager. Here we are going to create a secret by the name of SendGrid API key, which we are going to use to make the API calls to SendGrid API, which on our behalf is going to send emails to the user about their order details. Next is S3 bucket. Here we are going to store S3. Here we are going to store static resources of our application like restaurant images and all. And also we have set the access control to private. Now we are gonna skip this too for a sec. Coming to the third one. Here we are going to create a CloudFront distribution, which which we are going to use to serve the images to the user. Also, here we are going to configure a S3 bucket objects to be accessible only by the CDN link only. This is where we are also this is where we are going to give origin to our CloudFront, and this is the and this is the policy which is responsible for making the S3 object accessible via CDN only. And this is the origin access identity. Now coming to the database part, we are going to create three labels by the name of admin, users, and restaurant. They will hold data for restaurant users and admin. The key for admin table would be admin ID. For restaurants, it's gonna be email. For restaurant, it's gonna be restaurant ID, and for users, it's gonna be email. Next is creating an SNS topic. With the help of SNS, whenever user signs up, an email will be sent to him asking if they want to subscribe to email notifications or not. And if they opt in, whenever an admin creates a new post about offers, an email will be sent to the user. Next is creating an instance profile. So this will help the EC2 instance to get the credentials of the current IAM user or role. Mm, So the next part is where we are going to host our backend. So we are going to skip this three for a sec and come to the project environment. Yeah. So while creating Elastic Beanstalk environment, we need four things: the environment, application name, template name, and version label. So what's application name? So here we specify the name and the description of the application. Next is project version. Here we specify the version and also where to pull the code from. Here we have mentioned that we are going to pull all of our backend code from S3 bucket by the name of backend bucket, and the key would be backend archive.zip. Now this is the configuration template. Here we are going to specify what solution stack we are going to use. Here we are specifying that our environment, our application will be running on Node.js version 16. And for that application, also we are going to do some environment configuration. First of all, we are going to add an auto scaling group. Second is we are going to attach the instance profile which we created in the previous step. And the last two is we are going to attach some environment variables to our application. First is CloudFront URL. So with the help of this URL, we are going to serve the images. And the last one is SNSRN, ARN. So this is the ARN of the SNS topic which we created earlier. And with the help of this ARN, we are going to send emails to our users. Now, coming to the project environment itself, we are going to specify all the three things which we created earlier. Now, before creating environment, we need to make sure that all of this, all of these resources are created first, like restaurants table, users table, and admin table, everything. So we have written down them in the depends on array. Next is EC2 instance. First of all, we specify what type of instance are we going for. Over here, I have hard coded t2.micro, but we can ask the user if they want any other configuration via parameters. Next is attaching the instance to a security group. This is the security group which we have created. There are two inbound rules in this security group. First is to establish an SSH connection on port 22, and second is we are exposing port 3000 because this EC2 instance will be responsible for running our React app which runs on port 3000. Now coming back to the EC2 instance again. Next is we are going to attach the instance profile to make sure that our application have necessary credentials. Now, so this is an important part, user data. So this is where so whenever our EC2 instance launches, it's gonna perform a few commands. We can specify all the commands in this user data. The first two commands make sure that we have all the necessary libraries and everything. So therefore we have installed Node.js and Git. Then we are going to pull all of the code from our S3 bucket. This is the name of the key and this is the location where we are copying the file. Then we are going to unzip the zip file or the archive file into this folder by the name of frontend code. Now our frontend code needs the URL of our backend, right? So therefore we are going to perform this command, which will get the list of environment, and after that it's gonna get the URL of that particular of the environment which we are looking for and save it to an env file in our application. Once all this configuration is done, we are going to make sure that we have installed the dependencies which are mentioned in the package.json file. And then we are going to start our application. So by default, React application runs on port 3000, and therefore we have exposed that port on our on our EC2 instance via security group. And the last part is outputs. So this will help us after the stack creation is complete. The YAML file. Let's check if the creation is complete or not. I guess the creation is complete. So These are the resources which we have created with the help of that YAML file. Admin table, the secrets manager, EC2 instance, security group, bucket. My distribution is the CDN, that is content delivery network, the SNS topic. This is application. Uh, this all are related to our Beanstalk environment. These four things. Restaurants table, users table, and the last is instance profile. Yeah, coming to the instance profile, we have not created a new instance profile. We have just attached an existing one by the name of Labro. So, like I said, our front end is, my front end is hosted on EC2 instance. So, right now, the status is initializing. So, we are gonna wait for it to change. Meanwhile, we'll walk through the coding part. So, this is the front end of my application. Here I have written down some components which is responsible for displaying the data and fetching our data from the backend. For instance, inside the cart, when we click on place order, this is the function which we are calling, and it's going to get the URL of our backend from the env file and place an order. Similarly, this is the home page where we'll be able to see list of restaurants and everything. Yeah, so basically, front end is created using React.js and backend is created using Node.js and Express. Now, whenever the EC2 instance, which is responsible for running a backend part, will execute this particular file, which is app.js. So while the first execution of app.js takes place, we are going to perform three batch commands or just write operations to our database to populate the database with some dummy values. First is write data. Over here, we are going to populate our restaurants table with some dummy values. All of these values come from this restaurants.json file. So here we have specified everything like a list of restaurants with the menu items, cuisines, location, name, ID, etc. Now if we are go, yeah, so this is the write data command. We are going to read everything from the JSON file, and then we are going to check if the restaurants table exist or not. If it does exist, then we are going to perform the write operation, and then inside this fetch write command, we are going to specify the params, which is this thing where we have specified the table name and the data which we want to insert into our table. So that sums up the write data command. Next is upload images. Similarly, we are going to upload all the images, all the dummy restaurant images to our S3 bucket. So these are the parts of the images. They are over here, restaurant images. And then first we get the credentials of our AWS account, and then uh, we are gonna loop over it and upload each image to our S3 bucket. And the last is we are going to create an admin. So this admin is responsible for publishing new offers. So email ID is admin at the 123, and before inserting the data of our admin, we are going to hash the password with the help of Bcrypt. So this is the same technique which we are using when creating a new user. So basically these are the routes, and inside each route there is one database operation. This is config file, db.config.js file, where we are exporting the DynamoDB client, and this is the client which we are going to use to perform all the database operations. So Where's the add user? Yeah. So whenever a new user signs up, the add user function is called. And inside this add user, first of all, we are gonna check if the user with the same email ID exists or not. And if it does exist, we are not gonna allow the new user to create an account with the same email ID. And if that email ID does not exist, uh, we are we are going to first of all hash the password and then fill out this items object with the details which we have got from our front end, and then insert it with the help of this put command. Now, when a new user is created, we are gonna ask them if they want to subscribe to our email notifications or not. And this subscribe function is responsible for doing so. First of all, in this subscribe method, we are first of all we are going to fetch the ARN of our SNS topic, and this endpoint will be the email of the user. Then, with the help of this SNS client object, we are going to send an email to the user asking if they want to subscribe or not. And if they do subscribe, uh, and when an admin creates a new post, this publish method will be called. Similar with like we did in the subscribe method. Over here also, we are going to first fetch the ARN of our SNS topic, and this is the message will be passed down to the user in the mail. And then we are going to publish this command with the help of SNS client also. Mm. Now coming to the part where user places an order. So this is the route which is which will be triggered when user places an order, and inside this route, we are calling add order function. Inside this function, we are going to add all of the details, all of the card details to the orders array inside a users table. And when it's successful, we are going to sorry, this is get orders. This is the add order. Yeah. So here we are specifying all the card details like date and like time of placing the order. Then what's the restaurant ID, restaurant name, order items, and everything. So after the insertion is successful, we are going to send an email to the user about the payment, about their order details. So this is also with the help of an external API called SendGrid API. And for that API, we need to So in order to make a call to that API, we need to provide the API key which is provided by SendGrid, and that API key is stored in the secrets manager, which we created with the help of that YML file. So in the get secret function, we are getting the secret value. We are getting the secret by the name of SendGrid API key, and that API key we are going to pass down to this function called set API key. This as Gmail is SendGrid mail object, and this will the message. And also we can specify some HTML which will be helpful to us in passing down the order details to the user. So yeah, all of the functions are like similar, only we are using different commands like put command, get command, query command, and everything. So that sums up our backend code. Now we are going to check if the status has changed or not. Yeah, the status has changed. So if we have to connect with this particular EC2 instance, and like I said earlier, React App is listening on port 3000. We are going to fire that. First of all, we are going to create a new user. New user has been created. So this is the front end. Over here, we will be able to see a list of restaurants. This is the cart section and this is the order section. As this is a new user, both of these are empty. Now we are going to click on the restaurant and add some menu items to our cart. There are different categories we can choose from. Now going to the cart section, these are the cart items. Over here we have two options. We can edit the cart or we can delete the cart. Edit option takes us back to the restaurant, and delete button just deletes the cart. Then we are going to add a few items. Going back to the cart. Yeah. So first of all, like I said earlier, whenever a new user signs up, an email notification will be sent to the user asking if they want to subscribe to the notifications or not. So this is the new email asking for us if we want to subscribe or not. We are going to confirm. Click on confirm subscription. Now we are going to place an order. Now this order section is populated with this data. Now we have got the payment receipt of our current order. Scrambled eggs, oatmeal, and French toast. We can confirm it by going to the application. Scrambled eggs, oatmeal, and French toast. And the total is 50 bucks. And total is 50 bucks. Sorry. Now to demonstrate the SNS functionality, first of all, we are going to log in with admin credentials. And we can pass down the message over here by filling out this input field. Now this will send an email to the user as they've already subscribed to our email notification. We have got an email saying that we have some exciting offers on the application. So coming back to the CloudFormation part. So these are the resources. This is the admin table. So these are the three tables which we created with the help of CloudFormation. Users table. This is the user which we currently are logged in. We are gonna check everything over here. Yeah. So this particular EC2 instance is what Elastic Beanstalk creates for us to host our backend application. And this is the instance which is hosting our front-end application. As you can confirm, the IP address is same. Then coming to the S3 bucket, as you can see right now, we don't have a bucket by the name of application bucket. So that will be the bucket which will host our restaurant images and everything. So this is the bucket, and these are the images. Now going to the CloudFront distribution. This is the distribution which we created. Then this is the new environment. As you can see, date created is 12th of April. Now over here we'll be able to see the newly created SNS topic. And we can see that this particular email ID is already subscribed to the notifications. Just ignore this particular secret key. There will be a new key generated. Yeah, so this is the key which we have used. And so coming to the last part, how all of this code is deployed on the AWS cloud. So I have uploaded everything onto this two buckets, backend bucket and frontend bucket. The backend bucket holds the zip file for our backend code, and the frontend bucket holds the zip file for our frontend code. So yeah, that sums up everything. Thank you.